Donald Trump excites a lot of enthusiasm, but he also excites a lot of anger within the Republican Party and outside of the Republican Party, and a fresh face might be the thing that could give us a chance to turn this election and win in November against Hillary.
That was the part, right? That fresh face line that everybody is talking about today. Well, Karl Rove is with us now. Karl, you know, that was like, oh, bingo, that's it. The establishment admitting that they're going to put somebody in, they're going to give us a nominee on the GOP side who wasn't even in the race. Any credence to that?
Well, first of all, Charles, I didn't want the boomlet for you to get out so early, but I wasn't thinking when I was talking about it. But you're the fresh face, and let's be honest about it. It'd be an exciting choice for the Republican Party to have you as its nominee.
I feel like I could come to the rescue, so I'll stay in the back and be prepared. But listen, Karl, you already know that you have been a target of a lot of non-establishment candidates. For a long time. A lot of people think that you are part of the establishment that squandered opportunities here more recently. And when they hear...
Wait a minute. The two presidential campaigns I was in charge of, we won. You may remember them in 2000
Did you raise money in the last campaign? Were you involved at all?
Yeah, I did, but I was a loyal soldier in a vast army of people, and frankly, the last two campaigns that I was involved in, we came out the winner. And you may remember those two.
I remember those two, but I also remember the last two. And I also remember that
you know what? I wasn't the campaign manager. I wasn't in charge. I was a loyal soldier. I wanted both John McCain and Mitt Romney to win. But thank you for blaming me for their defeats. But frankly, that's a bunch of baloney, Charles, and you and I both know it.
I'm not blaming you. I'm saying that a lot of people do blame you.
And you and I know that's a bunch of baloney. Well, if I'm willing to take responsibility if I'm in charge, but I wasn't in charge of the last two presidential campaigns, I'll take responsibility for the twos that I have been in.
Karl, what about this one? It's no secret that you do not want Donald Trump to be the GOP nominee.
Yeah. No, I do not. I do not. I do not think I want the Republican Party to win, and a man who has a 30% favorable and a 63% unfavorable, and whose numbers are getting worse. They've deteriorated significantly from February, and every time I hope that he will turn around and show us that he can be presidential and do something to show us that he could be capable of winning the general election, he offends more people and says more stupid stuff.
Karl, by the same token, you talked on that radio bite that we played about the excitement that Donald Trump brings in. He's brought in millions of voters, fresh voters, new voters, people have crossed party lines.
Well, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful about that a little bit. He has run better in states that have had a smaller increase in turnout and run worse in states that have had the most dramatic increases in turnout.
Net, he's brought a certain amount of excitement that was missing from the party.
But my point is that net, everybody who is in this race can point to bringing additional people in. This is the growth in the Republican primary. Again, I repeat, he has run better in places with lower increases in turnout compared to past years and run worse in states with bigger increases. And look, you cannot argue with the fact that he's winning 37% of the vote in the Republican primary.
But we can't argue that he has energized a certain amount of people that were not energized the last time around. So this is what I want to get to,
and you also can't deny the fact that he, in 51 national polls, he has trailed Hillary Clinton in 44 of 51 national polls.
The same polls that said he wouldn't do anything when he announced, the same polls that had him at 5%, 10%, that said he was a joke, the same polls that have been 1,000% wrong up to this point. I get you, but who would that fresh face be? Because you understand, if it's someone who's not running right now, Karl, there's going to be people who are going to be upset. Can you give us a hint? Is it Paul Ryan?
Yeah, you're right. Look. Is
it Mitt Romney?
Look. I don't. Look, here's the deal. Let's step back. I know you're enthusiastic about him, but really to say that these polls show that he could win, point me to the poll that says he can win. Now, look, here's the deal. My point is simply this. If you'd listened to the whole Hugh Hewitt thing, you would have heard my point, which is when we get to the convention, if nobody has a majority, do you think that Donald Trump delegates are going to go for Ted Cruz, whom he called Lion Ted? Do you think that the delegates of Ted Cruz are going to go for Donald Trump? If we get to a stalemate, the party is going to turn around, and it's going to be really hard for people who have been for Donald Trump to be for one of the other candidates and vice versa.
So is this an acknowledgement that Ted Cruz and Donald Trump, if neither one has all 37, they're not going to get the nomination?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's going to be a tendency in the convention for people to try and say, well, who can we agree upon? And it's going to be really hard to get the Donald Trump people to agree to go for Ted Cruz and Ted Cruz to go for Donald Trump. Now, it may happen, particularly if Donald Trump is within a handful of delegates of the magic 1,237. Then some people are going to say, well, I don't like him, but you know what? He's at 1215, and all he's got to get is 1237. I'm not going to be. I'll be one of the 18 to put him over the top. But if it's a bigger number, then you got to. I think you'd agree that it's going to be hard for people who have such strongly felt opinions about the other candidates in the race to say, well, yeah, I'm going to go for him. And some fresh face may cause them to say, I'm willing to go for Charles Payne.
The only thing that's going to be harder is if someone gets this nomination that's not named Trump or Cruz. I think it'd be a disaster. We got to leave it there, Carl. You know I respect you, but we got to have these conversations from time to time.
I'm still for you, Charles Payne, as a fresh face.